Stand up! Sports fans, excited to get this show underway. Nice little morning sports talk show. We're going to be doing this a few times a week. We'll be alternating channels. We got our debut show today. We're going to be talking some broad sports. Of course, Sam will be talking about our New York teams, whether it be the Knicks, the Giants, because it's some baseball talk. But I'm excited to have you on the channel. And if you guys are not aware, Sim, Nothing But Knicks, got a great channel over there. Link in the description below. Sim, thanks for coming on, my man.
Entertainer, I'm happy to be doing this. This is going to be really, really fun. So I'm ready to get this thing going, man. Morning show, you know what I mean? I hope you guys are at work, having a good time at work. I think we got the echo away, so that should be good. Thank you. I see you said in the chat it's good. Just don't get fired at work. That's all that we ask. Join us on the show. Talk with us. Enjoy everything that we got to say, but just don't get fired. You know what I mean? If you're going to, if you're going to the break room, if you got a smoke break or a coffee break, check us out. Make sure you got your earphones in. Don't have us on your computer screen, because check it out. I do. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, go. I didn't think I would. No, go ahead. Finish. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, I do a show with. I do a show where I do a preview of the Knicks, whatever game they got coming up. And Isaiah, you guys know Isaiah. Some of you guys know Isaiah already. He's always on the show, and he's actually streaming into the show. And there was one show where every 2 minutes he was going off the screen. He was on the screen, off the screen, on the screen, off the screen. And I'm like, Isaiah, what's going on? Comes to find out, he's hiding the screen every time his boss comes around.
Sim's got such dedicated subscribers, he's got them getting fired from their jobs.
Yeah, I'm like, look, man, don't whatever you do, just don't get fired. Don't get fired.
Yeah, man. But I'm excited to get this show underway. We got a lot to talk about. We got obviously we got the Thursday night football game tonight. Of course, we got the Giants with a big game this week. You got the Yankees, who we both are not huge fans of. We're Mets fans, but they got a big game tonight. They trailed 2-1 in their series.
Yep.
We got the Knicks around the corner. We were talking before we went live. The Knicks start in a week.
They're starting a week.
Against Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs.
The San Antonio Spurs. And I'm going to tell you what. Based on what I seen last night, they still have a week. Still got one preseason game left. But based on what I seen last night, I don't know, man. I don't know. All the hope that I had coming into the season, I'm a little bit nervous about it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. Based on what we've seen, I didn't get to watch last night's game because I was working, but I streamed the game before. And I wish we had a few more preseason games, Sims, the way this team is looking right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard Dennis Smith didn't look too good last night.
No, Dennis Smith didn't look too good last night. None of the point guards, Frank Ntilikina or Dennis Smith Jr., didn't look too good. Frank Ntilikina looked a little bit better on the defensive side. On the offensive side, he still didn't give as much. Dennis Smith Jr. didn't give us anything on either side of the ball. I mean, they worked hard. Of course, Dennis Smith Jr.'s got to get in shape. He hasn't been playing basketball. It's his first game, in what? Since April. First real basketball game since April. So, we'll see. Elfrid Payton didn't play at all.
Elfrid Payton, the game I called, he was like 0 for 9. He looked horrible.
Right.
I'm worried about the point guard position, Sam. I'm worried about the point guard position. We'll have to wait and see. I think Barrett might get some time at the point. I'm not saying he's going to start there, but I think he's going to get some time. I read an article that said he was practicing a little bit at the point guard.
Yeah. Well, he ran a little bit last night at the point guard. He didn't get a whole lot of time at the point guard, but he did it a little bit last night. I think he did it a little bit the previous game versus Washington. Down the stretch, ran some point guard. So I do think that, there will be he'll play some point guard. You know what I mean? Now, will there be a lot of minutes with him playing point guard? I don't think there'll be a lot of minutes with him playing point guard because, we got 3 point guards on the team. But I think there'll be some time there. And, of course, what does that mean for the other guys? You know what I'm saying? If RJ Barrett is getting some minutes at the point guard spot and it starts to work, then what happens with Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, and Elfrid Payton?
That's a good question,
man.
That's a good question. I think we're going to have to wait and see. We got a lot of guys that could do a lot of things on this team. One thing about this Knicks team, it's kind of both the strength and a weakness. They're very deep. But by the same token, sometimes you can be too deep. So a lot of Knicks fans are worried about that with the playing time, getting getting comfortable as a unit, getting comfortable with your role. When you look at their bench, I mean, you got established pros on your bench, so Bobby Portis, Wayne Ellington. So it'll be interesting to see what Fizdale does this year and how he mixes and matches the minutes. I think that is perhaps the thing I'm most interested in, other than, of course, RJ Barrett. You want to see how he does. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how he divvies up the minutes this year.
Yeah, definitely. You got, another thing that's interesting that's coming up within 2 weeks. Are the Knicks going to extend or pick up the option for Frank Ntilikina? They got to do that by October 31st.
Right.
Right. So we'll be watching to see if they pick up his option, and then shortly after that, they've got to pick up the option of Dennis Smith Jr. If they don't, both players will be unrestricted free agents at the end of the season.
Interesting stuff. Just want to say hello to a couple of people in the chat. Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. Chris Sonor, Delano, Cushmaster, Last Jedi, Chad. I saw Taylor's in here. Jared Williams, Word, Chris Lavelle. Thank you. King Envy, thank you for being here. I like to try to shout everybody out. Rogue Dog, thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody for being here. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. Go into the description. One Giant Rebuttal I know is in here as well. Dire Giants fan. And subscribe to Nothing But Knicks. We're going to be doing this show pretty often. So I think people are going to like the show. Talking a little basketball. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see with Ntilikina. Do you think they're going to extend those guys?
I think so. I think it's the only smart thing to do is to extend them, because if you extend them, if you pick up their option, you're only picking up the option for one more season. The Knicks aren't really going to be players they can be players if they choose to be in free agency in 2020, but there's not anybody in 2020 that you probably want. And I don't know if there's a point guard that's available in 2020 that you're like, yeah, this is the guy that we're gonna go get. So we're not gonna pick up the options of Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank Ntilikina because we're targeting this guy. I don't think there's a guy out there that's like that. So you might as well pick up their options. If a trade comes, then you can use those guys in a trade if you need to. Now, because they'll still be on the books for 2020, and then in 2020 they'll be expiring contracts, so there'll still be a good trade chip because they're young. There's still going to be teams that want to take a flyer on them because they're young, and then you still get another year to see them, and then in 2021, that's the off season where the Knicks want to be players. In 2021, if they're not what you want, then you just don't give it a qualifying offer. You let them become unrestricted free agents. So I think it only makes sense to pick up their option because it works. You get a chance to look at them a little bit longer if you need to, and you also have their contract there for trade. So.
We'll see how it all plays out. And Sim, Rudy T, thank you so much for the super chat. Now, Sim, I'm not used to streaming in the morning, okay? And we're starting to get breakfast questions. And Rudy wants to know, butter or cream cheese on my everything bagel? Well, Rudy, first mistake you made. Rudy's originally from New York, Sim. I think he lived in Connecticut. And you're originally from New York, Sim. You know the bagels in New York are much better than anywhere else in the country.
Much better.
But the fact that you got an Arizona bagel, I've never had one. It's not going to be like a New York bagel, but I'd go with the butter. I'm a butter guy, but I do like the cream cheese as well, but I go butter first.
I like cream cheese and butter on mine.
You put both at the same time?
Yes, I do.
You just blew my mind, Tim.
I like cream cheese and butter on mine. I'm not even going to lie to you.
And Acapulco, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, will Fizdale be in trouble with less than 30 wins? That's a really good question. Now, last year, Sim, as far as Fizdale goes, and then we're gonna move around. We'll talk some more broad NBA. We'll talk football, whatever. But as far as Fizdale goes last year, you couldn't really judge him, right? Because they had all these reclamation projects, whether it's Arzonia, everybody that they brought in, right? And they were trying to get something out of nothing, really. And now I wasn't thrilled with Fizdale last year. I thought that he was way too inconsistent with the roles that he gave guys, and I thought that it stunted some of the players' growth. But I couldn't judge him up last year. This year, I could start to judge him. I don't see him getting fired almost no matter what this year. Even if they play poorly, I do see him being on the hot seat the following year if the team does not show progression. But what's your take on that, Sam?
Yeah, I think yes. I think you're exactly right. I think they give him this year. Last season was a throwaway season, right? So I think they give him this year, but they expect some progression. I think they expect the team to be much better. I don't know that they expect them to be in the playoffs, but I think they expect them to be much better. They got players, like Fizdale said. He has players that can retain information, right? So he's saying this now, which means last year he didn't feel, and maybe the front office didn't feel, that they had players that could retain information. Now they have players that can retain information, which means we should be seeing some things happen on the floor, right? We should be seeing sets. Fizdale said he wants to use cross screens, down screens, all these different type of things. We've seen it in the first game. We haven't seen it the last two games, the second two games. So yeah, I think that Fizdale is definitely, after this season, I mean, the clock is ticking for him. I'm not saying that it's, he's on the hot seat, but if they don't show improvement this season, if they come away with 20 wins, only 3 more than last season, or even 23 wins, I think that's going to be an indictment on Fizdale, and then he could be in trouble.
I'm completely with you on that. And One Giant Rebuttal, man, thank you so much. If you guys have not checked out One Giant Rebuttal channel, by the way, puts out great content over there. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says everything bagel, doesn't matter what part of the country, must have veggie cream cheese, match made in heaven. Really? OGR, One Giant Rebuttal. So you go with I like the breakfast talk, by the way, so there's something different. And Alan Rubin, thank you for tuning in the stream. Let me shout out everybody. Jeremy Nussbaum and Mike, thank you for tuning in. Javon, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everybody for being here. Jewish Letter, your mic sounds horrible. I think I'm coming in low, people are saying, Sim. So a couple of people say that.
It said you're coming in a little bit low. All right, let's
little bit low. OGR, as far I've never had the veggie cream cheese. Never had the veggie cream cheese.
All right, so I tried to turn you up a little bit. Let's see if that's a little bit better.
Okay, let me know if it sounds better, guys. Let me know if it sounds better. What's going on, Clocks? Thank you for tuning into the stream. Gelato for breakfast? Get the hell out of here, Chad. Get the hell out of here.
And maybe if you can move the mic a little bit closer as well. Maybe move it a little bit closer. Yeah, try that. Yeah.
Delano says it's better. Delano says it's better.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, hopefully we're good to go now. All right, Kush, thank you for letting me know. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm always hungry in the morning. What's your typical breakfast, by the way, Sam?
My typical breakfast, it depends on what's going on. So, if I have time in the morning, most of the time I do have time in the morning because I work from home. So, that's always a good thing, right? I like pancakes, eggs.
How do you not wait? You eat pancakes every morning?
Not every morning, but that's but that's what I would really. That's what I really like. Typically, if I'm heading out and I've got to go to a meeting or something like that, I'll grab like a granola bar. If I have bagels, I'll grab a bagel. I might have a quick bagel with egg on it, and orange juice and water.
Okay.
But when I have time, I'm a pancakes and grits and eggs and turkey bacon because I don't eat pork bacon. That's
really.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that? Just because it's not good for you?
When I was young, when I was in high school, I actually stopped eating meat altogether. Right?
Oh, so you don't eat meat now, Sim?
I do. I only eat chicken and turkey.
Okay.
So I eat chicken and turkey and fish. So I don't eat any red meat. I don't eat any pork. When I was in high school, I seen a documentary on, just how they treat cows and stuff like that. And I stopped eating meat altogether. I was only eating fish. But it wasn't good for me at the time because I played basketball in high school, right? And I lost like 25 pounds over the summer. And I came back to high school my senior year, like really small. And
Right.
I didn't know how to get the proper protein, you know? So, yeah, I was like, well, I got to do something because this isn't going to work. So I started eating chicken and turkey. And ever since then, that's all I've eaten is chicken and turkey. If I come if I come close to pork, I'll start getting sick.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Your first mistake, and thank you so much, QC, for the $2 super chat. He says, now I got to make food. Thanks, guys. We can't help it. It's the morning. People start talking food. I'm going to start talking food. I love food. But your first mistake, Sim, you can't watch. I never watch documentaries because I know I'm not going to want to do it. I watched the SeaWorld documentary on the killer whales, and I can't go to SeaWorld anymore. I would never watch one of those documentaries because it would make me too guilty every time I tried to eat a steak.
Right.
So that was your first mistake. So
right.
But I couldn't imagine doing that. So I could never be. I don't think I could be a vegetarian for a day, let alone a week.
But but look, honestly, I don't even think about beef or pork. It's like you wouldn't think about eating a rat. Right? It doesn't even cross your mind. It's the same thing with beef and pork for me. It doesn't even cross my mind. Doesn't even cross my mind. And it's like it's not even. It's almost like it doesn't even exist because it doesn't even cross my mind.
But back to sports. People getting annoyed in the chat. People saying, "Get back to sports. Get back to sports." Guys, it's the morning show. We're gonna talk a little breakfast. You got to talk breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just talking. I see somebody's trying to join us. We're not taking video guests right now.
No, nobody.
Yeah. But obviously we're talking some basketball. Let's shift over to my Giants, and then we'll talk some broad NFL and your Giants as well. You're a big Giants fan.
I'm a big Giants
fan. Giants now 2-4, but they're coming off a pretty encouraging performance, even though they got killed. The defense played well against the New England Patriots, a game in which I think we all expected the Giants to lose going in, especially with all the players they had out. You had no Barkley, you had no Ingram, you had no Sterling Shepard, and we knew going in, and Daniel Jones was going to struggle. The Patriots defense is out of this world this year. I think they've given up. I think Daniel Jones was their first passing touchdown they've surrendered all year, and it's 3 touchdowns overall. So we knew they'd struggle in that game, but the defense was encouraging. The defense has gotten better week in and week out. And it's encouraging because they're young, they're improving every week, and they got a big matchup this week because it's a game they should win. They got the Arizona Cardinals coming 3,000 miles across the country, and they're only a game out of first because last week, miraculously, the New York Jets, of all teams, beat the Dallas Cowboys, and the Vikings, the team that beat us the week before, helped us out and beat the Eagles. And the Eagles and Cowboys play each other this week. So if the Giants could beat the Cardinals, we're only a game out of first, and we'll be tied for second 7 weeks into the season.
Right.
So it's a big game this week, and I think it's a huge game for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I think, needs to have a bounce back. Barkley's supposedly going to be back. We're going to have Evan Ingram back in the fold. Golden Tate's here. So he's got most of his weapons in place. The defense, I think, should play decent. I worry a little bit about Kyler Murray. He's the number 1 pick for a reason. He's got mobility, could do some damage with his legs. But I think the Giants should match up well in this game. Yeah,
and listen, Guillermo on the show, on the Nothing But Knicks show, he was like, oh, you guys don't respect the Jets. We did you guys a favor. You guys didn't even say thank you and all this junk. I see Guillermo in the chat. Guillermo, I take my thank you back. I'm taking my thank you back. But listen, I didn't expect the Giants to do as well as they did defensively against the Patriots, right? And they have. They've gotten better week after week. I mean, if you look at week 1, right, that secondary was just atrocious, and I was so afraid that Tom Brady and Julius Edelman was going to eat us alive. I was scared to death. I was like, they're going to eat us alive. But they showed up. they got some pressure on Tom Brady. So each week they've been getting more and more pressure on the quarterback as well.
They got 16 sacks in the last 5 games.
Exactly. They they're getting more pressure on the quarterback, which obviously is going to help out the secondary. There were a couple times when it didn't result in a positive for the Giants, but the secondary actually held while Tom Brady had time in the pocket, like time where there was no one around him, and they actually held their own for a little while, long enough. Now they did get a holding call, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Right, so they're getting better. They're starting to come together. That secondary is starting to come to better. And if we come together, and we can continue to get pressure on quarterbacks, maybe we have the makings of a defense there. They're young, like you said. If we can go to Arizona,
no, they're coming here.
They're coming here, right?
Yeah.
If we can get a win versus Arizona is 2-3-1. The Giants are 2-4. We can put ourselves in a good situation. I think that, if we had last week, I'm not going to say we would have won the game, but if we would have had Ingram, Saquon Barkley, Shepard, some more weapons out there besides, just Golden Tate.
Right.
And Golden Tate is not really a playmaker. He's not going to make a lot of things happen. He's basically a possession receiver. You know what I'm saying? So he's not going to make a lot of things happen. Now we got someone, what's up with Shepard?
Shepard's got a concussion. He's had two concussions in the first 4 weeks. So I think the Giants are going to handle him with kid gloves.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to be back probably for a couple of weeks, and nor should he be. That's nothing to play with. Actually, I was just telling you before I went live, guy that I didn't know him, but he grew up a couple of towns away from me. It's on ESPN. Boxer died due to a concussion. His head hit the ground. He went into a coma. Unfortunately, passed away. So concussions is nothing to play with football. So I expect the Giants to handle that with kid gloves, and we'll get checked back when we get him. They re-signed Benny Fowler, who was playing the slot earlier in the season when some of the guys were due to when Golden Tate was suspended for 4 games. So Fowler will probably get some time. But with Ingram, Tate, and Barkley, that should be enough to win this football game as far as I'm concerned. And the defense, still not good, but they're definitely much better. That Cowboy game, like you said, the first week of the year, I'm watching that game like, what are they doing? Like, it looked like a high school defense because Petro first off had him in the wrong situation. He had him playing zone, and they were just picking them apart. And I think they've made some good defensive adjustments. I think the younger players are getting better on a week-in, week-out basis, and I expect this Giant defense to get better over the course of the season. So that's the positive. Now, when you look at our schedule, it's not the most favorable schedule down the stretch. We still got to play the Eagles twice. We play the Cowboys. We play the Packers. We play the Bears. So, 1 week at a time. I don't have the highest of expectations this year, if I'm being honest. But I think the team's going to get better. And I think next year, when the Giants have all that cap space, more draft picks, I think Giants going to be a very good football team for an extended period. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And, if we can be patient this season, and that's going to be hard for, New York and Giants fans to be patient. But if we can be patient this season, watch these guys develop. Daniel Jones has been such a revelation for us. It's like drinking a glass of water, having a quarterback that can actually make some plays out there. Now, and listen, I love Eli. I'm a big Eli Manning fan. I supported Eli last season. Although I could see the decline, I supported him, and I wanted him to do well. But look, Daniel Jones, the Giants are making plays with Daniel Jones in the game because he gets the ball out quicker. He can move his feet. He's accurate. And, those are things that Eli Manning is not. Eli Manning, and I know we've been, over this conversation so many times, but, Eli is like, he came into the league like in a crossroads, right? Where you still had your traditional quarterbacks in the league, but it was beginning to transition to the kind of quarterbacks we have now. So Eli kind of came in as still your traditional quarterback. So he still had use. You could still use a traditional quarterback back then that could sit in the pocket, go through his progressions, pick out what's going to be best. But then the game started to move and change, and the defensive linemen got quicker, faster, they're leaner, right? And now you really got to get the ball out faster. It's almost like in the NBA. The game is a lot quicker, right? They score more points. It's a free-flowing type of basketball game, and that someone like Carmelo Anthony, doesn't fit into today's league, so they say, right? Because of his style of play.
Almost like a Cantor. A Cantor doesn't really fit either.
Exactly.
He tried to fit. They tried shooting the threes last year. But no, it's a good point you bring up. I think most people look at Daniel Jones as I'm like you. I love Eli's my favorite Giant ever. I love Eli. But it was time. We drafted Daniel Jones for a reason. We needed to see the future at some point. It may have been a little early. I didn't expect it after 2 weeks, which is why I think you've probably seen a little bit more struggling than anticipated from Daniel Jones the last couple of weeks. But at the end of the day, you got to learn how to fail before you could succeed. And yeah, that's what Daniel Jones brings to this team. He definitely has a lot more mobility than Eli. And his arm strength is a lot better than I initially anticipated. So we'll see. He's definitely struggling a little bit with reading coverages, but you expect that from a rookie quarterback. He's throwing a couple of picks that make you say, what is he doing? But overall, you got to be encouraged with the skills that the guy does possess, because he definitely has the ability, I think, to be a very good quarterback. I don't know if he will be. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, because there's a lot of times where you see a young quarterback, you're like, yeah. And then, he doesn't work out. So he's got the tools. It's just a matter of, can he put it all together?
Yeah.
On a consistent basis.
Yeah. And we'll see. A lot's going to depend on how the Giants and the coaching staff works with him and develops them and things like that. Having Eli there with him is a good thing, right? It's a very good thing. Have someone like Eli backing him up to talk him through some of the coverages that he might be that he's seen out there and how he should attack those coverages and different things like that. So having Eli there is a good thing. And actually, I hope that the Giants can re-sign Eli as his backup. Will Eli want to do that? I don't know, but it would be good for Daniel Jones to have.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see Eli Manning coming back to knowing he's a backup going into the season. We'll see. Because if I'm Eli Manning, I'm either going to retire, which I hope he does as a Giants fan, or I'm still going to have that competitive spirit like Peyton did, and I'm going to want to go and play somewhere else. Now, when you look around the NFL, there's not a lot of opportunities for Eli, in my opinion, next year, because there's a lot of young quarterbacks. I don't see it. Maybe the Titans, maybe there's a couple places, but I don't see it. I think Eli's done. But we'll have to wait and see. But as far as this game goes, I think the key to this game for the Giants is on the defensive side of the football. The Arizona Cardinals definitely pose a threat with that new style offense. They brought in Cliff Kingsbury, who's known for it's kind of like a West Coast offense, but it's a lot of short passes, a lot of high percentage throws. And Kyler Murray, he run like a 4.340 at the combine. The guy's a supreme athlete. So the Giants are going to have to spy him. They're going to have to be very good with tackling. They're going to complete like 3-4 yard throws, but a lot of their offense is yards after the catch.
Right.
So a guy will catch like a 2-yard crossing pattern and then a run for 5 yards. So they have to be sound tacklers in this game, especially something that the Giants have struggled with in recent weeks. So got to make sure you come up, with good open field tackles and you don't allow them to get those extra 3 or 4 yards after the catch. That's a huge key in this game.
Yeah. We'll see. Like we said, the defense has been getting better week after week. Hopefully this is something that the defensive staff is cueing in on. And, we'll be able to come away with a victory next week.
I think we're going to get one. I think we're going to get one. I think we get the 3-4, and then we got a huge game at Detroit, which will not be easy. Detroit's a good football team.
Yeah.
They got screwed against the Packers. Did you see that game?
I didn't see the game. I did not.
Oh, the referees blew the calls on that game. Oh, man, they got screwed.
Yeah, the Cardinals right now averaging 22.3 points a game. There's 9th in yards at 376 yards per game, 11th in passing yards at 254, and they're 12th in rushing yards at 122.7.
The rushing yards are a little misleading because Kyler Murray's averaging about 45 of those.
Right.
So they're not really. They don't run the ball a lot with the running backs traditionally. They're more of a passing football team. But Murray obviously adds to those rushing totals. David Johnson, I heard. I got to look up on this, but last I checked, David Johnson did not practice yesterday for the Cardinals. Their standout running back. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they're gonna throw the ball and Murray's gonna run with it.
Yeah,
that's what they do. That's what they do, and we got to be ready for it. We got to be ready for it. And let's touch on the Jets real quick.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Let's touch on the Jets.
Because I know we got a lot of Jets fans in here. I know that Guillermo's a big Jets fan, for one. I got a couple of Jets subscribers, and they earned it. Sentinel's a Jets fan in the chat. What's going on? Clocks, thanks for tuning in. I saw your trivia question, but I forgot it. I'll try to get to it. We're doing a talk show. But as far as the Jets go, obviously coming off what many people thought was a shocking win. Now, going into that game against the Cowboys, I'm saying to myself, Jets, they're due for a win. This is a decent football team. They're not an 0-4 football team. They got Darnold back, who got mono because he's probably kissing some broad he shouldn't have been kissing, and so they get him back. They got a strong defense. Even in the game against the Browns, the defense looked good. And they're taking on a Cowboys team coming off 2 losses. And the Cowboys, to me, are not that good of a football team. They beat the Dolphins. They beat the Giants the first week when the Giants' defense, we talked about it earlier, looked like a chicken with their head cut off. And they beat the Redskins. Redskins and Dolphins played each other last week. They didn't have a win going into the game. They called it the toilet bowl. And they were coming off a loss to the Saints without Drew Brees. And they lost to who did they lose to? They lost to the They lost to, it was a pretty good team. Oh, the Packers, I think. So, and a game in which they should have lost by a lot more than 10 points. They got severely outplayed in that game. So I'm saying to myself, the Jets, I think, are going to at least be able to keep this game close. And they come out with a win, drop the Cowboys to 3-2, and now they got their arch rival, the New England Patriots.
Yes.
On Monday Night Football.
And
look, Patriots are coming in as a 10-point favorite. What do you think of this game?
Look, the Jets. I mean, you would hope that playing a division rival, they're going to be playing the Patriots, not just a division rival, but playing the Patriots. They're going to really be up for this game. They're coming off of a victory. So hopefully they'll be able. They'll be into it. They got some confidence coming into the game. But they're going to have to do better than mustering up 220 yards. It was they're 32nd in the league, 220 yards a game. They got to do better than 12.6 points. But you can't when you come to division rivals, you never know what can happen. So I'm hoping that the Jets can come out and play well. If they could just, even if they don't win the game, just build off of last week's win and play well versus the Patriots, and then take that, and bring it into the following week. If they could just do that, they're 1-4. I don't expect them to beat the Patriots, but if they can play well, they lose to the Patriots. They're 1-5. Let's see what the rest of their
schedule's soft. I looked at their schedule. They got a pretty soft schedule after this because they've already played New England twice now. This will be the second time they play them. They got a very winnable schedule down the stretch. I'm not going to pick the Jets to win this game, but I'll tell you what. I think the Jets are going to keep this game close. I really do. I think they're going to keep it close. I saw that Buffalo Bills game against the Patriots, a game in which Buffalo probably should have won. The Patriots offense this year is not, it's not that it's a bad offense, but it's not nearly as good as some people may think. When you look at the teams the Patriots have beat, they're not good teams. The defense is spectacular, and that's the strength of this year's Patriots team. But I think if the Jets defense could create a couple of turnovers, and I don't think there's no reason to think that they can't. The Giants created, I think, 2 or 3. The Jets have a very good defense. I think they have a top 12 defense in the league. If they create a couple of turnovers, I think the Jets keep this close. And I think they have a chance to win it at the end of the game. I think the Patriots win. I'll say the Pats win by about 3 or 4, maybe 5. But I think the Jets make it a game. And I think the Jets are going to have a nice second half. I think they're going to win about 7 games, maybe 8. I think they're going to have a good second half. And I'm have something to build off of going into next year with Darnold. I do. I think that was a huge win for them last week.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. If they can keep this game close, keep that confidence going, and then move off into the second half of the season, and try to salvage their season in the second half. Maybe be somewhere. What are they? 1-4 now. They'll be probably 1-5 after they play the Patriots. And then
give me the remaining schedule, Sam.
Let me see if I can pull it up. My laptop here was going kind of slow. I had to pull it.
And yes, Sentinel, C.J. Mosley is back from what I've heard for the Jets this week. From what I've heard. The Pats got an insane defense. The Pats have given up, it's like 50 points or something like that through 6 weeks. They're on pace to break the record for the fewest points allowed in the season.
Jeez. Yeah, the Pats defense is, I don't know if I've ever seen they've always had decent defenses, right? But I don't know if I've seen them this good.
Their defense is scary this year. And that game against the Giants, their defense, even the throws that Daniel Jones completed, he had to fit them into like a window this big because their coverage is phenomenal.
Exactly.
That touchdown throw to Golden Tate, the defender got his hand on it, and it was a great throw. So, the Patriots got an unbelievable defense. I don't think the Jets are going to move the ball on them. I'll say that.
It's taking a long time for me to pull it up. My computer's moving a little bit slower.
Don't worry about it. You know what? I could probably pull it up.
Yeah.
What's going on, DJ? Thanks for tuning in the stream, buddy. Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, remember, I dropped it earlier, so I hopefully that's not having an effect. Hopefully it's just the internet. I'm going to be pissed off at myself if I did something to my laptop.
All right, so this is the Jets' remaining schedule. They got New England this week, which we probably both agree will be a loss.
Right.
So you're 1-5. You got at Jacksonville, at Miami next to. They could win the Jacksonville game. It won't be easy. They got a good defense, but that's definitely a winnable game. At Miami, obviously a winnable game. You got the Giants, neutral field. I think that's kind of like a coin flip type game. At Washington, a game they could certainly win.
Mm-hmm.
Home against the Raiders. At the Bengals, Miami. At Baltimore, home against Pittsburgh, and at Buffalo. So it's not the hardest of schedules. I could see them going 7-9, 8-8.
Yeah. That they could. That's not. That's actually a decent schedule, man. If they would have been able to muster up a couple more wins in the beginning of the season, they could have been looking at the playoffs, maybe. But
yeah, if they were able to win, maybe if their quarterback's not going around kissing hookers,
yeah, exactly,
they'd be in a much better situation. But you got to blame Donald for that. But no, we'll see how it all plays out with the Jets. And I wanted to touch on. We're going to get to the Yankee game. I see people talking about the Yankee game. I wanted to touch on tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, another divisional game. You got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos. And if you would have told me 2 weeks ago that I thought this would be a close game, I would have said you're an idiot. But the way Kansas City has looked the last 2 weeks, ever since Pat Mahomes kind of injured his ankle,
mm-hmm.
They've lost their last 2 games, one to the Colts and the other to the Texans. I know they were home against the Colts. I think they were home against the Texans too. 2 games you wouldn't have expected them to lose, especially against the Colts. And I think Denver has a legitimate chance tonight at home. Mile High Stadium, one of the toughest places to play.
Right.
And they're coming up 2 wins. I think 2 wins in a row. That defense is starting to click. I think they had no sacks through like their first 3 or 4 games. I think they got 15 sacks now as a team, or 12 sacks, something like that. They're starting to get after the quarterback. I think Denver could pull that upset tonight, which is, a lot of people may think that's crazy. I think they got a legitimate shot to win that game.
And if Patrick Mahomes is not going to be 100%, they definitely have. I think they would definitely have a legitimate shot to win the game.
Yeah, I do. Now, Denver doesn't have an offense that can keep up with them. The way they're going to win this game, if they do, they're going to have to do what the Colts did. They're going to have to control the clock. They're going to have to get after them on defense, run the ball effectively, and we'll see if they can do that. But the Kansas City Chiefs defense is not good. Exactly. It's bad.
Exactly.
So that could be an Achilles heel for this team this year.
We'll see. Denver is 2-4 on the season. Kansas City is 4-2 on the season. Let's see. Game tonight is 8:20 on
NFL Network.
On NFL Network. Yeah, 8:20 on NFL Network. And I don't have. Are you playing fantasy football?
I am. No, I don't follow it that closely, but yeah, I'm in a couple of leagues.
In a couple of leagues. I'm in one league, and so far my league, I think I'm 3-3 in the league. I started off 2-0, and then I went 1-3 the last few weeks. But it's not too bad because I didn't even get to draft my own team. I forgot all about the draft. And then I looked and I had a team. And I'm like, oh snap! So I'm 3-3, and I'm still in contention. We still got the entire season. I'm still in contention. So we'll see what happens there, man.
Yeah, who's your quarterback?
My quarterback is I have dang, I can't even remember.
Well, you didn't draft your team, so you shouldn't remember.
I gotta go back and look.
Yeah, I got lucky with mine. I took Russell Wilson really late, and he's been. You want to talk? Russell Wilson's the MVP this year, Sim.
Yeah.
That guy has been on another level. Because every time I watch a Seahawks game, I'm like, this is a fake team. But they're 5-1 because Russell Wilson is putting the team on his back. That's not a very good football team, but Russell Wilson is insane.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. I don't even know what to say about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I mean, he's everything you want in a quarterback today, right? He can sit in the pocket if you need him to. He can throw accurately. He can run the football. You know what I mean? He's tough.
Right.
He's tough. He's just about everything that you want in a quarterback today. Now,
yeah, I mean, the guy's throwing a 73% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, no picks.
Right. We'll see if he can continue to carry the team this way throughout the remainder of the season. But for now, it is what it is, and if he continues to play this way, yeah, he'll definitely be the MVP this season. He'll be the MVP.
Him or McCaffrey, the running back. The Panthers have been phenomenal too. And John Letourneau, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, "Stand up, the entertainer, and Sim making waves." John, man, thank you for the super chat. And by the way, anybody that has not done so, please go into the link in the description. We're gonna be doing this show probably 2 or 3 times a week going forward. We'll have a set days. I think we probably said, what did we say, Monday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Friday? I forget.
We said Monday. We said, I think we said Wednesday and Friday.
Wednesday and Friday, whatever it is.
Yeah. I think we said Wednesday and Friday.
Once we get it going, the 2 shows every week will be on the same person's channel, and then we'll alternate on a weekly basis. So go on over there and check out Sim's channel. He's got a great channel over there. He's obviously a Knicks channel, but talking some broad sports today. We'll circle to the baseball now. Not that either one of us are that interested, obviously, because we're Met fans.
Right.
And our friggin' rival.
I'm sorry. My quarterback is I don't know how I forgot. My quarterback is Carson Wentz.
Oh, how do you? Because you didn't. You didn't draft. I was going to say, how did you pick Carson Wentz? You didn't draft your team.
I didn't draft my team, right? But he's doing work for me though. So.
He's done pretty well fantasy wise.
Yeah.
But as far as baseball goes, our rival's already in it. You got the Nationals. They already made the World Series.
Yeah.
And now they're waiting for potentially the Yankees to be there.
Yeah.
And as a Mets fan, the 2009 World Series, I had to watch the Yankees take on the Phillies, and that was like going to the dentist and getting all your teeth pulled out. And now the Yankees, there's a big game coming up for the Yankees today. They got Game 4. Obviously, they were rained out last night, and they're taking on the Houston Astros. Astros team is fantastic. They won 107 games this year. But this is a game the Yankees need. They cannot drop 3-1. They got 2 more games at home before they go back to Houston for a potential game 6 and 7. So Yankees, in my opinion, they got to win the next 2. They can't. If they're down 3-2 going back to Houston, I think Houston wins the series. If the Yankees go back leading 3-2, I think the Yankees stand a very good chance to win. And an interesting pitching matchup today. Greinke, who one of the better pitchers of baseball, but he's gotten roughed up a little bit in the playoffs, and he's going to be taking on Tanaka from the Yankees, who's pitched great. It's 6 scoreless innings his last start, so it'll be a good game today, a big game. Big game.
And let me tell you, entertaining. You'll be carrying me on baseball because while I'm a Mets fan, I'm not deep into baseball as I used to be. Not as deep as I used to be. But I can tell you this. Already, there are people, friends, and things that I have here. I live in D.C., by the way. That are bragging about the Nationals to me and da 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 da. So I need the Yankees to be there.
Yeah.
I need the Yankees to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because I live right here. Listen, D.C. is on a high right now. The Mystics just won the WNBA championship. Now,
are they really on a high from a WNBA championship?
Well, I mean, but now you got the Nationals in the championship. Right? I mean,
Okay.
Right. So now you got the Nationals in the World Series. So they're like, okay, just a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, whatever, the Mystics won the championship. Now the Nationals are in the World Series. They're sowing their royal oats around here right now. Okay.
That's when a city celebrates a WNBA championship, they're deprived of the championship. The Atlanta fans, because the Falcons never win anything, and the Braves only won one World Series there in the 90s with that great pitching staff. They were celebrating because their soccer team won last year. I'm like, are you guys that desperate for a championship? But I think it's gonna be a great World Series because the Nationals have a great pitching staff. So no matter who goes up against Washington, with Scherzer at the top of that rotation, he's as good as anybody. Obviously Strasburg as well. So whoever gets in to play the Nationals, I think it's going to be at least a 6-game series. Yankees have a great lineup. They do lack in the starting pitching. They don't have that elite starting pitcher, which is why I think a lot of people pick the Astros in this series. The Astros have a great top of the rotation. But we'll see how it plays out. Yankees got to win these next 2, though. If you're a Yankee fan, you drop one of these next 2, you're in big trouble. Got to win these next 2 at home. We'll see how it plays out. And we're going to be taking phone calls, so if you guys want to call and talk about the Yankees. Obviously, I'm a Met fan. I follow the Mets much more closely. And as far as the Mets go, real quick, they have yet to decide on their manager. And, obviously they'll probably wait until after the season's completed. But I heard they're talking to Carlos Beltran, a former player. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of want a guy with some experience. The guy that I want is Joe Girardi, the former manager of the Yankees. Mm-hmm. And he's out there, and there's rumors he may be interested in the Cubs job. We'll see how that all plays out. But I would love to see Girardi manning the Mets. And Madden, another guy that he's a great baseball manager. Kind of an out-of-the-box thinker. He does some things that you don't always agree with, but he's definitely a very smart guy. Joe Madden, he's had some success. He brought the Rays to a World Series, won a World Series there with the Cubs, but he already signed with the Angels, so he's out. So Girardi's the guy that I got my eyes on right now. That's the guy I would like. But the Mets got a lot of talent, 86 wins, a lot of young talent. If they get that bullpen sorted out and get a good manager, I think the Mets might be here next year. We'll see. But I'm encouraged going into the next year as a Mets fan. But obviously, all eyes on the Yankees tonight.
All eyes on the Yankees. I mean, that's how it usually is in New York. But, and look, unlike Nets fans and Jets fans, as a fan of the Mets, I'm not afraid to say that the Yankees, it is a Yankees town, right? Not afraid to say that.
Well, it's a Yankees town right now, but in the 80s.
Oh, that's true. In the 80s, the Mets were. It was a Mets
town.
It was a Mets world, but it always seems to come back to obviously they win championships, but all those Brooklyn Nets fans out there. We didn't talk Nets at all, but so I guess we have to talk Nets too.
Oh no, do we got to?
Right, so I guess we got to talk.
Kevin Durant. Let me get your take on that whole Kevin Durant thing from a couple of weeks ago, saying what he said about the Knicks franchise. What'd you think about that?
I don't. What I think about it. I didn't pay that much attention to it. I paid a little bit of attention to it, not a whole lot of attention to it.
Right.
He was on Hot 97, and I didn't hear the entire interview. I just seen the clip,
Yeah, he basically came out and, I mean, to paraphrase, he basically said that free agents do not want to come to the Knicks because they've grown up watching the Knicks suck. Right. And they're not the cool team.
They're not the cool team anymore, right?
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yes, because they've sucked, that's why players don't want to come here. But the reason they've sucked is because, and we always talk about this, they haven't built through the draft. They've always tried to take shortcut after shortcut after shortcut. Now they're finally building through the draft. I don't think they're going to have an issue bringing in free agents if these guys pan out. And I'll tell you, Katie's got a big mouth talking about things that aren't cool. This guy joined a team that he had a 3-1 lead the year before in the Western Conference Finals. He paired up with a team that won 73 games to go get a ready-made championship. And he's going to go and criticize other team? Give me a break.
Yeah. They asked him a question. He answered the question, right? He easily, and I don't exactly remember what the question was. I guess it was, why didn't you sign with the Knicks rather than, why did you sign with the Nets rather than the Knicks? And, he said, yeah, I saw a championship, but most kids nowadays don't see the Knicks as a cool team. But, you just said it. But one thing that also struck me, though, where he's just uninformed, right? But he's like, so I'm joining a team that has, a recent history of success. It's been one season that the Nets have had success. If you look at the last 10 years,
the Nets made the worst trade in the history of the
NBA. Exactly. They've made the playoffs 3 times the last 10 years. The Knicks have made it twice in the last 10 years. So there's not really a big history of success with the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I mean?
Prokhorov traded away all those picks for 2 senior citizens.
Right.
What is he talking about?
To me, he went with the Nets because he didn't want to be by himself in New York with the Knicks. Kyrie was going to be there. He's a follower. He followed Kyrie. Bottom line, that's the way that I see it. And he's trying to save face. That's what I think. Because he reads a lot of social media. He reads blogs. He does all of that stuff. And even people who, supported the Nets, your guys on ESPN and all these other places, and they're like, oh, what a coup for the Nets and everything. They all recognize that KD went to Brooklyn to follow Kyrie because he didn't want to be by himself with the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? And now I think that whole thing was just to try to save face for himself. Save face. That's what I think.
Maybe. And the rumors came out afterwards that the Knicks didn't offer KD a contract. Now, we don't know if that's the truth or not, obviously dealing with that injury. But who knows? We move on, we move forward. But as far as the Nets go this year, and somebody said, Ernesto said in the chat that I sound like I'm on a long-distance phone call, so I don't know if the volume's been fixed or not. But regardless, thank you guys for letting us know. But as far as the Nets go this year, I don't expect the Nets to have a great year this year. I think they could. I'll tell you what, the Nets could be worse than they were last year with Kevin Durant out. And we've talked about this in the past as well. Obviously they lose D'Lo, they bring in Kyrie, but Kyrie, what has Kyrie proven when he's the guy? What has he proven throughout his career? I mean, last year with the Celtics, the team got worse when he came back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was just trying to listen to it. That's why you probably heard a little bit of feedback. I mean, it's coming in loud and clear from my laptop here. So I mean, it could just be the difference in mics that we have that sound a little bit different, but it seems to be coming in loud and clear. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. The reason for the echo is because Sim was testing out there on his.
Yeah. But
we'll see what the Nets do this year. I don't expect much.
No, I don't expect much either. I mean, listen, Kyrie Irving, he's already been hurt twice before preseason is even over. Before he even got to preseason, he got hit in the face and had a broken bone in his face, and then during preseason, the first game of preseason, Rondo elbowed him in the face, and again, he had to go out because of a facial injury. This is going to be a problem with Kyrie Irving all season long and for his entire time in Brooklyn. And he's not getting any younger. He's going to continue to get older. He's got brittle bones.
Right. The guy's hurt every year. The guy's hurt every year. And I'm kind of glad, in the moment, obviously, we're Knicks fans, and we cleared up that. I mean, at the end of the day, the Knicks wanted Kyrie and Durant. If we're being completely honest, they cleared up all that cap space from the Porzingis trade for a 1-year window, okay? Because that would have came off after next year, right? Because Hardaway, they could have traded him on an expiring deal. Courtney Lee would have fell off. So they were looking to make a big splash in free agency this year, if we're being completely honest. So they wanted to do this. And if Durant doesn't get hurt, maybe it happens. But at the end of the day, the fact that Kyrie is injury prone, the fact that Durant is coming off an awful injury, I think the Knicks, even though it didn't go according to plan, I think it's going to play out in their favor, not doing that. I don't think this is going to work out for the Nets. They may be competitive, really competitive, for 1 year. And that's if Durant gets back to what Durant was. He very well may not.
Right. And in the long run, and listen, the next 2 to 3 seasons, 4 seasons, the Nets will be better than the Knicks. Right? But in the long run, if the Knicks continue on their trajectory and doing what they're doing, just like you said, the Nets, they're going to have their money wrapped up in KD, wrapped up in Kyrie for the next, 4 years, I think it is. They're going to have their money wrapped up into those guys. You're going to see it's going to be... They're going to have trouble if they don't win it, which I don't think they're going to win the championship with those guys. They're going to have trouble adding and building on, to that team. It's going to almost be like, it's not exactly like when they got Paul Pierce and KG and those guys. It's not exactly like that because those guys were really old.
They were like 34, 35.
Yeah, for the life of me, I can't understand why they did that. This is not going to be like that, but it's similar. It's just that Kyrie and KD, DeAndre Jordan, they're younger. And they got a few more younger pieces in Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert and stuff like that. So they have some more younger pieces. I don't think the same chemistry is going to be there. I'm with you. I don't think the same chemistry is going to be there.
Kyrie is not a guy that could be the guy. He's got to be that second guy. I wouldn't be shocked if the Nets finish with like a 7 or 8 seed this year. I think they take a step back this year. I really do. I think they're going to be a bottom tier playoff team in the East. But when Durant gets back, if he's healthy, they could easily win the East. I'm not going to say they can't. We'll have to see how it plays out. Obviously, Antetokounmpo might have something to say about that with the Bucks. But they lost a piece there too. So in Brogdon, right? Because he had a really good year for them last year. So the NBA as a whole this year is going to be really interesting, both in the East and Western Conference, mainly the West. I mean, the Western Conference, the biggest complaint with the NBA on a year-in, year-out basis, and we'll take some calls after this, but the biggest complaint with the NBA on a year-in, year-out basis, in my opinion, is the lack of parity. Like every year, especially in recent times, you go in and you know what the finals are going to be. It's going to be LeBron versus the Warriors. And this year it's not like that. The Western Conference, in my opinion, is wide open. Yes, you have your favorites with the Lakers, the Clippers, but there's a lot of teams in the West that if things click the right way, and I'm not too sure about the Rockets. I don't know how that's going to play out there with Harden and obviously Westbrook because they're very similar. But if that clicks, they could be a great team. The Jazz could be a really good team. There's a lot of teams, the Nuggets. So the West, it's going to be a great year for the NBA. I really believe that. A lot of parity.
Yeah, the West is going to be dangerous, I think. I really like the Utah Jazz. I just like, listen, they're a defensive team. I like the pickup of Mike Conley. Moutier, to me, is an underrated addition to that team that a lot of people, especially Knicks fans, are going to write off because he's Emmanuel Moutier and they didn't like what he did in New York, but he's playing. He doesn't have to be the starter there. He can play under Mike Conley. He's already in a defensive system, so I think that's going to work out. Of course, they got Donovan Mitchell. I I like Utah. I don't know if they're gonna win, if they have enough to win the championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I like what Utah is, and I think they're gonna be a top 4. I think they're gonna be a top 4 team in the West.
I love
Top
Utah.
4 or 5. Top 4 or 5. Top 4 or 5 team in the West. But yes, the West is very, very deep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm rooting for LeBron this year. I know a lot of Knicks fans don't like LeBron. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Knicks, but realistically, we're not winning a championship. I like LeBron. I used to not like LeBron after what he did to the Knicks, but in recent history, I feel like LeBron is he's very hated. I don't think people recognize how great this guy is. And I'm rooting for LeBron this year. I want to see him get another championship. I'm not
a LeBron fan.
I know a lot of people are.
LeBron fan. But I don't think that the Lakers are going to be better than the Clippers.
I'm with you. I think the Clippers are the best team.
Yeah, I think the Clippers are going to be really good this season. I mean, they're going to be defensive. I mean, defensively, they're going to be, oh my goodness, they're going to be just incredible defensively, I think. The
Clippers already had a good team.
Right. They already had a good team, and then now they added Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. They're going to be monsters defensively.
Yeah, and what's going on? Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I try to say hello. We're doing a talk show. Andre, thank you for tuning in. But yeah, we'll see how it all plays out, though. I think the West is very interesting this year. And let's talk about Kawhi real quick. Kawhi Leonard last year really helped his legacy, because I don't think, and obviously he got assisted with Kevin Durant going down in the finals. Where do you think Kawhi Leonard could rank all time if he wins a couple more titles there in Clippers? Do you think he's going to be a top 10 player ever?
It's a good question. Wow, I don't.
He's probably the best two-way player in the league right now.
Yeah, I think he's definitely the best two-way player in the league. Let me see. He won, 2 with San Antonio?
I think he won 1.
Was it 1? 1 was.
I could be wrong. I think he won 1. Maybe it was 2. I think it was 1. But either way, he's one of a very. I don't know how many players have done that, where they've been like the big guy and they've won a championship in both conferences, the East and the West.
Right. And if he goes in. Okay, so they're saying in the chat that he won. Well, some people are saying 1, and some people are saying 2. So you guys are just as clueless as us.
Either way, he won.
Right.
He won at least 1. But it'll be interesting if he goes over there now with the Clippers, and he's the guy. Paul George never won anything. Kawhi's the guy. He's the leader of that team. So he wins a couple more. I think he's going to be a top 10 player ever.
He could be, man. Especially, let me see. Kawhi Leonard has.
He's got 2. Everybody's saying 2 now. He won 2 with the Spurs.
He won 2 with the Spurs?
That's what I don't know. Well, they're saying he won 2, so I don't know if that means 2 with the Spurs or 2 overall. And Zach, I took everybody's mod away. It has nothing to do. I'm not going to get into that discussion now. I had to talk about it way too much in the last stream. People were abusing their powers. I'm going to slowly give them back. So it's nothing to do with you, Zach. People just kicking people out for saying anything. And I'm like, it's getting out of control. So I said, I got to get rid of the mods, and we'll slowly bring them back.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do. Anybody popping in for the first time, it has nothing to do with you as an individual.
There you go. Yep. I had to do it to Mark. I had to take his away.
Yeah.
I had to take his away because he silenced somebody or whatever because he didn't like what they said. I mean, that's not what it's for.
Yeah, it's basically what a mod is for is to kick out somebody who's spamming, whether they're trying to promote their channel, kick out somebody who's saying something racist or derogatory, but not any little thing. And it was getting to that point. So I'm like, all right, we got to slow down on the mods.
Yeah.
We got to regroup, and we'll start from scratch.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take some. Let's take some calls, Sam.
Yeah,
I like to talk to a couple people.
Let's take some phone calls. Hopefully, I have everything set up. Oh, wait a minute. Hopefully, I have everything set up so that you can hear it. So you guys can call in 516-405, and I'm fixing that on the screen for you right now. 516-405-2246. You can give me a call, and we can talk it up. If you have any questions, whatever it is, we can talk it up. Feel free to call in 516-405-2246. Give us a call. This is the first morning show. All right, we've been looking forward to it. It seems to be going well, and we'll have a lot more. We're gonna have a lot more of these. Hopefully, we're gonna be able to do them every Monday, every Wednesday. Talking broad sports all the way around the league. Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, if you are calling in, make sure your boss isn't looking.
Exactly. Make sure your boss ain't looking. Go into the bathroom. Go outside, take a smoke break or your coffee break or whatever it is that you do. Run to the copy room. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
And Madden Football, Zach Rose, man, thank you so much for the dollar super sticker. I appreciate that. Reed Berry, what's going on, man? Thanks for popping in. And Madden Football is the Pope Catholic. Of course, I'm excited to see Saquon Barkley back.
Yeah. All right, let me see. We got a call here. Let's see.
All
Caller,
right.
you're on live with Chris and Sim. What's going on?
Hey, Simeon and Christopher, how you guys doing?
Why am I not surprised that Bobby Woodruff would be the first person to call in? This guy, Sim.
Well, I was trying on your phone. I thought this was your screen, so I tried your phone first, and then 5 and 6 pops up.
Every time we
Confuse the old man, huh?
Every
Nothing
time we
like
do a show
confusing
together.
the old man first thing in the morning there, Christopher. I'm 51 years old, remember that.
Bobby, go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
Hi, Simeon.
How you doing, Bobby? I'm good. I'm feeling
Good. Everything's good, guys? Everything's good?
everything.
In the hood?
Good. Everything's good, Bobby.
Okay, I want to comment on Chris's thing about LeBron. I think LeBron is a blowhole. That's one thing, because he is. I don't like him at all. The way he treated every team he played for. The Lakers. I like the Lakers. I don't like him anymore because he's on that team. Clippers are going to take care of them all year. Lakers are not making the playoffs, Christopher. I'm sorry to hear that. Tell you that right now.
Who's not making the playoffs?
You said the Lakers.
The Lakers are not making the playoffs with the LeBron James. They're not making the playoffs with him.
Bobby, you want to make a bet on that?
Yeah, that's how much money you want to put on it.
I'll put whatever you want. Whatever you want to put, I'll bet you on that.
All right, sounds good. The next fact, the Yankees are going to win tonight because Tanaka is pitching tonight. Tanaka is going to take care of those.
It's a big game for the Yankees tonight. They got. I know you're a Yankee fan.
I think we could hit St. Greinke. He's nothing. He's washed up. St. Greinke is washed up. He's all washed. And the Giants are going to kick butt against the Cardinals this weekend. They're going to sack Mayfield. Not Mayfield. What's the quarterback they have?
Kyler Murray.
Who?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. They're going to sack him 7 times on Sunday.
Seven times.
And Barkley,
7 sacks.
And Barkley's going to run for 200 yards that game.
Now, Bobby,
And then,
I love your optimism, Bobby, but usually when you make predictions, I take them with a little grain of salt because you told me preseason that the Giants were going to sweep the NFC East.
well, I was wrong, okay, Christopher? I cannot predict everything. I'm sorry, Charlie. I was just happy that the Dallas Cowgirls and the Eagles lost on Sunday. I was so happy to just beat those smelly Cowgirls. And the Eagles lost. Those smelly Eagles lost too. I was so happy.
Did you call me Charlie?
You weren't happy? What?
Did you call me Charlie?
Yeah, he said sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Charlie.
All right.
That's a. You never saw that commercial with Charlie Tuna?
Never saw it, Charlie. Tuna? No, never saw it.
You never saw the tuna fish commercial with Charlie and Candice Cameron?
Sim, have you ever seen a tuna fish commercial with Charlie Tuna?
Yeah. Simeon, do you remember the Charlie Tuna commercial?
Charlie Tuna. No, I don't think I remember the Charlie Tuna.
Starkiss.
It's a Star Kiss.
Starkiss.
Is that
Yeah,
the
he's
Starcast?
the Charlie
Is that the
with
guy
the glasses
shades?
on.
Is that that's the tuner with the shades on?
Yeah, you know those. You don't know them?
Okay.
Oh.
I
So,
know,
Christopher,
I know of them. I know of
do
them.
you
The guy
ever
with
get
the
in
shades.
touch with Mr. Frank?
Yeah, Mr. Frank, yes. He did comment on one of my videos, and he will be getting
Oh, no, that's all. That's good. We're still going. Me and my brother are still going. We're going to meet you.
Sounds
be
good,
down
Bobby.
there.
I'm looking forward to it. Jets-Giants game. Jets-Giants game.
Are you going, Simeon? Can you go?
Unfortunately, no, I'm not going. I won't be going. Unfortunately.
Oh, we should. You should go so we can all meet up. It's gonna be fun.
I would love to. I don't think I'm going to be able to make this one though. I got.
Oh, okay.
I got a lot of things going on the weekends where because my daughter is getting ready to go to college, so we do a lot of college.
All right, college.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate.
What college does she want to go to?
Oh, right now she's not exactly sure. She's visiting a few different schools from all from Connecticut on down to Virginia.
Ooh, that's good. Tell her to go to Virginia. Nice down there. I like your hat. I like your hat. It's cool.
Next, Bobby's going to be asking you for your zip code. But
No, I didn't say that. No, I know he lives in Long Island, Christopher.
But Bobby, I always love talking to you. We got limited time. We're going to try to take a few more calls.
Okay. Yes, I know. You can't go the marathon 4 hours you usually do, like at midnight.
But I want to say thank you for calling in, Bobby. Thank you for calling.
You know, I'd like to be the first one to call in.
I know you
I'm
do.
your friend forever and ever and ever. Simeon, I'm your friend forever too.
We appreciate it.
Okay, guys?
You're the first.
You have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later.
All right, talk to you.
All right, Bobby.
Ernesto, shut your pie hole. Thank you.
Oh God, Bobby is.
Oh my goodness.
Bobby is. When you look up character in the dictionary, you get a picture of Bobby.
I bet.
Yeah,
Well, Bobby.
He's a character.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, you're the first one to call in on this show, so not just the first one to call in. You're the first one to call in on this show ever. First phone call ever.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Sam. He's the first one to call in on any show ever.
Yeah.
Any show I ever do, he's the first one. He's got a phone. I always say he's got a phone glued to his ear.
Yeah. All right, we got another call coming in. Let's see. Calling live with Chris and Sim. What's going on? How you feeling?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
What's going on? Who's this?
This is Michael Lopez, bro. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, Michael Lopez and Rudy T? Thank you so much for the. Oh, we could probably talk about this. This is a hot topic. Rudy T, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, "What do you guys think can be done about the NFL referees? NFL referees this year have been abysmal. We'll talk about that in a second, Rudy T. But what's going on, Mike? What do you want to talk about, buddy?"
Oh, you already know, man. First and foremost, I just want to say, guys, you guys are doing a great job with this morning show. Chris, you're doing an excellent job. You already know with the live streams, with Bad Dog, man. Maybe the three of you guys should do some type of collaboration one of these days, man. You guys will sound great together. But I just wanted to talk about this Sunday, man. I think we're going to get a dub, Chris. We got Barkley back. Ingram's back. So the kid's going to have more weapons to play with, man. And it's against a suspect defense, so we should be able to take advantage of it.
I'm with you, man. I think this, and I think Sim probably agrees with you. I think this defense is starting to play better. You got the Cardinals traveling across the country with a mediocre defense at best. Giants get their weapons back. If there was ever a game where Daniel Jones should, what's going on, Darnell? Thanks for popping in. If there was ever a game where Daniel Jones should have a bounce back game, it should be this one. And I think the Giants are going to come out and they're going to play well, and I think they're going to win pretty convincingly. I think they win by at least a touchdown this week.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those fun shootouts because let's be for real, our defense is suspect too. Although it does show signs that it's starting to improve little by little. Specifically the pass rush. So I mean, let's see. It should be a fun game. Two rookie quarterbacks with skills, and may the best man win. And I do think we'll come on top.
I sure hope so, Sim. That's the storyline of this game, though. The first two quarterbacks in the draft. Michael, is that's the storyline. You know, and it'll be interesting. You don't see that often in their rookie years where, the first two quarterbacks in the draft go up against each other because a lot of times the rookie won't start to begin the year. So that's going to be a really cool storyline. And I think both will be able to take advantage of the other team's defense. So Giants just
absolutely. I'm expecting Ingram to have a real big game, man, because they're real weak against tight ends, and I think Patrick Peterson is coming back, but I think a lot of his focus will probably be on Golden Tate, and who knows, man, maybe Slayton could get open on a few plays and we can hit him deep. With Barkley back, that opens things up for play action, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this offense is going to be moving now with some of those important pieces back.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see how this offense operates now that they got their weapons back in place. And the play action is the biggest key to the Pat Shurmur offense. And with Barkley back there, that's why we drafted him. It's going to open up everything. It's going to open up the screen pass. It's going to open up the RPO. It'll open up the play action rollout. And it's going to be beautiful to watch. I think this week the Giants offense is going to put on a show. I think we're going to put up at least 26, 27, 28 points. I think we get the ball rolling and get some confidence going into that Detroit game.
Man, that would be so beautiful. Just to get this offense rolling. Hopefully, in a few weeks, we get it rolling with the guys that we have.
Yep.
Pray that we don't suffer any more injuries. It's been injury riddled since preseason, right?
Amen.
We don't suffer any more injuries. Later on, we get Shepard back and then really see how this thing can get humming, man. And I'm telling you, hey, you know what, Chris, we were saying earlier, man, and look, I'm probably just getting hyped because I'm talking about it, but we were saying earlier, we got to be patient. Things come together. Next season we could be really good. But when you look at the weapons that we can really have on the offensive side of the floor, offensive side of the ball.
So you said about the Knicks.
Right? You look at the weapons that we can have: Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley. You got Daniel Jones coming into his own. You got some other guys that can produce in spots here and there. Slayton, exactly. If the defense can continue to get better, I don't know, man. We pull out a couple of these wins, try to get to 500. The NFC East, the NFC East is not that great right now. We only have one loss in the NFC East.
Yeah,
we're one
There's still 4 more games to play, guys, and they're up for grabs. But let me just say this, because I'm sure you guys got other callers. I just want to squeeze this in real quick. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. And Spencer, you know Spencer, Chris. He's put it out there too. He agrees fully. We got to get rid of this coaching staff, dude. He's a fraud. Shurmur's a complete fraud. Betcher does not know how to put the players in right positions to make plays. He can't make the right adjustments. We need to clean house, get all these rats out of the damn building, and let's bring in some real coaching, because I'm tired of this bullshit with these half-ass coaches. We need some real hard-nosed, old-fashioned school coaches, bro. None of this BS that we're getting, these Shurmurs and these, who was the other clown we had, McAdoo. Let's get with this, bro. We need some good coaches. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a great day. Let's go, Big Blue. Stand the fuck up, Giants fans. Let's get this fucking dub.
All right, man. Thank you for calling in, buddy, man. Thank you for calling in, and we'll talk about that briefly. Real quick, I want to translate to the referees as well, because that was a great point that Rudy brought up. But as far as the coaches, I get why Giants fans are frustrated. Pat Shurmur's only been here now for 16 plus 6. I'm not great at math, Sam. 22 games. And the offense has been but at the end of the day, and I get it, Shurmur might not be the guy, but I got to see him with a full arsenal. I got to see Daniel Jones get more experience. But Shurmur does some things that make you scratch your head. Yeah. Last week, 4th and 2, how do you not go for it? There's 7 minutes to go. You got to go for it. So there's times where I'm like, what is he doing? But I got to give him a little more of a chance before I say he needs to get fired. Betcher, the defensive coordinator, I get it. There's times, same thing, where they're in zone defense. You're like, why aren't they in man press? Why are they blitzing as much as they are? Mm-hmm. But Betcher, I think the defense is starting to play better. So I'm willing. I got to see more. I got to see more before I say we got to fire these guys.
Yeah. I agree. It's kind of like with Fizdale. You know what I mean? You're I guess, going to be your franchise quarterback. He's just getting going. This is Saquon Barkley's second year. We got to give it time. We got to give a little bit of time, to see if they can bring it together and pull it together.
Yeah.
Who else? Hey, just give it some time. Give it another season or two, and then let's start talking. I guess. See if we can pull it together.
And that's not the Giants' way. At the end of the day, they've never been a team that's reactionary. They let things play out, and that's why they're as great of an organization as they are. Because they could have easily pulled the plug on Coughlin, and they didn't. So you got to let it play out. You got to give the coach a couple more years, in my opinion, especially with a rookie quarterback. He just learned the playbook. You don't want to play with his head. But if the Giants play awful down the stretch, I'll start to understand it. But let's give them a chance. Let's at least see this year through before we start talking about that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And see what we can do with this plethora of guys that we have, man. And, listen, the one thing with the Knicks, that's the one thing that's it's always been a real big difference between the Giants and the Knicks. And I know they're two different sports, right? But the Giants have been an organization that tries to stay loyal to their coaches, to players, right? Try to minimize the amount of turnover and really have stability, right? That's what they've tried to do over the years. And it's resulted in Super Bowl wins. The Knicks are a team that's always, they're always trying something new. No one can ever get a handle on what it is exactly that they're trying to do. You know what I mean? I like the way the Giants go about things. It's kind of their style. It is what they, that's what they do. That's what they've been known for. So I wouldn't expect them to just pull the plug this quick. They're going to try it. They're going to try to, try to make it work, try to make it go. Obviously, there's been times when it's happened, and your defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, they move, like Spags was here last season, now he's gone. I like Spags, of course. I have a sweet spot for Spags because
Spags was the best. Spags was the best. Now he had players to play with, let's be fair. I mean, he had OC, he had Tuck, he had Strahan, Strahan, the first time. So I mean, Spags was a good defensive mind, similar to Abecha. They did, send some blitzes. He was an aggressive defensive coordinator. Obviously, a different system. It was the 4-3 as opposed to the 3-4.
Right.
But I like Spags. I definitely like Spags. I miss Spags. I miss those Giants teams because they won. But I think the Giants are getting on the right track. I think we need to be patient. Yeah. We need to let it play out. But I wanted to circle back to what Rudy said and thank you for popping in, Tony Crow. Thanks for the love, man. But I wanted to circle back to what Rudy said in that super chat about the NFL referees. That has been a huge problem. More so this year. I mean, well, first off, let's go all the way back to last year in the NFC Championship game. The Saints should have went to the Super Bowl, and the referees blow a blatant pass interference call. And because of that, the Rams playing the game instead, which is why they institute this replay now for pass interference calls. And going into last Sunday, I don't know what the stat is now, 20 out of the last 21 pass interference challenges were not revoked. So basically, they're not, even though there's blatant pass interferences, you saw it in the Giant game versus the Patriots. There was a play late in the game where the Giants clearly should have gotten the call. They challenged it. They didn't get it. And I'm watching the Jet game. I'm streaming the Jet game last week. Down the stretch, there were 6 penalties called in a row. 6 consecutive plays. And the referees, they got to do something about this. There's too many whistles. There's too many flags. And it's kind of ruining the game. It ruins the flow. Nobody wants to see a game decided by penalties.
Right. And what is it? What is it that the refs are missing so many calls, and then even with replay cannot get the right call? What is the issue?
I don't know. I don't know. And the other thing that they did, they put an overemphasis on holding penalties. Mm-hmm. So they said that going into the year. They said we're going to be stricter with the holding penalties. And over the first 4 weeks, they were going 66% more holding penalties than in years past. So the flags have been out of control, and it's killing the sport. It's too much. It's too much. The other thing I can't stand is the oversaturation. football was great when it was just on Sundays. Now you got Thursday night football, Monday night, Saturday night late in the season. It's too much. I think they need to go back to the way it was. I don't like Thursday night football. I think it's a poor product. You get teams on short rest. It results in more injuries. And that's another thing that I have an issue with the NFL. But they're not going to get rid of that because it makes them too much money.
Too much money, and that's the thing with the NFL, man. They're a money-making machine. It's all about making a dollar with the NFL. I couldn't see them. I definitely couldn't see them doing away with Thursday night football. Let's just hope that they don't add any other nights, because I think it does water down the sport. The big thing with football, it's always been those Sundays. Okay, they added Monday nights, cool, but obviously a long time ago. But those Sundays, that's what makes football, right? It makes it like a family day, a day that you can hang out. You got this day all week that you're looking forward to. If you start to water it down throughout the week, then it's going to take away the what I want to say, the air, the atmosphere,
the special, the aura, what makes it special.
Yeah, it's going to take that away from football if you begin to do that. You know what I mean? Leave the Saturdays to college, leave Fridays to high school, Saturdays to college, Sundays to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of that. I mean, they're not going to get rid of it, like we said, because of the money that plays a factor. But for a league that now is starting to say, they're so conscious about concussions and they care so much about the player's safety. Do you really? If you cared that much about the player's safety, you wouldn't be playing Thursday night football, because there is evidence that there's more injuries on Thursday night football than on Sunday, because the players have 3 days to recover from the previous week. Right. So you don't really care. You care about money. The only reason they're showing the only reason why they are paying so much attention to the concussions is because they're worried they're gonna lose money. So they're trying to make it appear that they actually care. They don't care.
And listen, they couldn't take away Thursday night football now anyway, because like Ernesto just said in the chat, gambling is gone mainstream. So now there's so fantasy football, gambling and everything surrounding football. If you take it away, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? With all the betting and all that stuff that surrounds football, So, it's probably here to stay. Right. It's just not watered down anymore. Well, I don't know. We got another call coming in. Let's get to another call.
All right. I just want to say hello to my Cowboys family. Got a good channel over there. Go check them out. But what is going on? Who's this?
Lavelle, what's going on, Tanner?
Who is this?
Chris Lavelle, what's going on, man?
Oh, Chris Lavelle, what's going on, buddy?
How are you? How's it going, Sims? It's the first time I've had the privilege of talking with you as well.
It's going good, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm obviously, you know what I'm calling about, the Giants. So I'm taking a look at the injury list right now, and it's looking a lot better than it has been. That's for sure. We got Shepard's limited practice. I wanted to ask you if you think maybe possibly that he might play this week. Limited practice Wednesday.
Huh. Well.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I tell you just a little bit with my history with the concussion protocol. The limited practice is actually part of that entire protocol. Right?
Yeah.
So, you'll have a limited practice, and then you'll go get some more testing done. My daughter, she plays basketball, and she fell backwards, and she hit her head on the back of the floor. Right?
Yeah.
And that night, we didn't, she was okay. She went to, she came home, went to sleep. When she woke up in the morning, and I drove her to school, she looked super tired. Now, she had slept for 8 hours, but she looked really, really tired. Got in school. She had blurred vision, headaches. We took her to the emergency room, and they put her on a concussion protocol. And let me tell you what, even for her, right, when she came home, she couldn't watch television. She couldn't listen to music. She basically had to sit in the dark and do nothing. And then after a certain amount of time, she had to come back and they tested her again. And then she came back and they tested her again. And then when she did start back, Now, she couldn't come right in and start playing games. She had limited practice where she could do certain things, and then she would get tested after a couple of days. And then finally, it took about 3 weeks for her to get back into action to be able to play.
Right.
Because she had to go through all the steps and had to be cleared at each level. So this is probably, just one of those levels where they're like, okay, you're ready to return to limited practice. Then we'll come back. They'll, do you have any headaches, any dizziness, any blurred vision, anything like that? And he'll have to go to a next step. So I don't think that he'll be able to play this weekend.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, we got right now we got Ballantine on a concussion. Right now we got Gallman on concussion. We got Olsen Pierre on concussion. We got Shepard on concussion. It's just like concussions are plaguing the Giants right now. Injuries in general, and this is his second concussion in 4 weeks. Tanner?
Yeah, that's nothing to take lightly. That's something you worry. That's career threatening. If you start to develop a history of concussions.
Right. That's why I was really surprised to see him, limited practice with his second concussion in under a month. I was surprised to see him practicing at all. But I guess that's a good thing. It's a good sign for him, and that I hope he makes a speedy recovery. We need him out there for wins. That's for sure. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think? What do you think Barkley? How Barkley's game is going to look this week coming back? It's unfortunate for the Cardinals that they're going to have to deal with him his first game back.
Yeah,
in a while.
That's a great question. He's going to play from all accounts. Now the question is he going to get a full workload? Of course, the Giants went out there. Something we should have talked about earlier. They acquired a running back this week, Buck Allen, who's had some success in this league. 2 years ago, he had 800 scrimmage yards. So
yeah, he's with the Ravens, right? The former Raven.
Yeah, with the Ravens, he had about 600 yards on the ground, about 250 in the air. He could play. He's a solid backup. I don't know if Barkley's going to get a full workload. They might ease him back.
That's my question, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to get touches. He'll probably get at least 13, 14, 15 carries, a couple of catches. But I could see Allen getting some work as well. But, anytime Barkley's on the field, whenever he touches the football, he could take it to the house. In my opinion, he's the best weapon, not just at the running back position, any skill position in football. When he's on the field, that guy does things I've never seen a running back do. So just having him back is going to make this offense so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Ingram and Barkley out there with Daniel Jones for pretty much for the first time. We with the exception of the first quarter against Tampa Bay, which we really didn't get to see much before he got injured. And this defense is really starting to turn a corner. I think. I think they're starting to gel. I think I'm not a big Betcher fan, but I think that his ways of his schemes are starting to, the guys are starting to learn it, and they're all starting to play a lot better. Especially Marcus Golden. He's really looking good, and I'm glad we picked him up.
Yeah, that's a question I got for both of you guys. I love Marcus Golden. I thought it was a great pickup when we got him. I had predicted that he's going to lead the team in sacks this year because he's proven in the past that he fits this defensive system very well. That's why we brought him in. But if you're the Giants, say we lose our next 2 games, or say we split, we're 3-5.
Yeah.
At the trade deadline, knowing he's a free agent next year, and you could probably get a good piece for him, do you trade him?
Yeah.
You could always bring him back in free agency the following year.
Yeah.
Do you trade Marcus Golden?
You think Marcus Golden? Trade Marcus Golden?
I'm asking.
Is that
what you doing?
I personally think we should hold on to him. I think he's going to have a great season if he's around the entire year. I think maybe Jackrabbit Janoris Jenkins would probably be a better fit to get rid of. I think we could save some money there and possibly get a draft pick as well for next year. But Marcus Golden, I'd like to hang on to. I think the kid's he's looking good. He's only 26 or 27 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I love Golden, but the way I look at it is if we are selling, if we're saying we're not going to win this year,
right? I gotcha.
Golden's a free agent the following year. We could always bring him back if we could offer a second round pick. I would make that trade.
That's a good point. You're saying if we're 3-5 after the Cardinals and the Detroit Lions, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because it's
I could see that. That would make sense. Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, it's a possibility. Get another pick. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. But, what about I wanted to ask you one more question. What did you think about David Mayo last week? I mean, that kid seemed like he was everywhere, all over the field. I mean, like, do we start playing him a lot more now, or Tay Davis is back from injury, it seems like, and Ogletree. I mean, but Mayo really, he was everywhere last week. He was impressive. I was wondering if we should start using him a little more now, even though our healthy our real starting linebackers are back. But I think Mayo should get some more playing time.
I love Mayo. I mean, I don't know if I love, but last week I loved him. The guy had like 15 tackles, and it wasn't like empty tackles. He was making tackles for losses. He was, working around blocks. He showed good lateral quickness. David Mayo had a great game last week, and he certainly earned an opportunity to show what he could do going forward. I hope Ogletree's not going to be on this team next year, because you cut him, you're going to save $9 million, and you got guys like Conley, if he comes back from injury and shows he could play next year, and Mayo, that could play the position pretty adequately. So I don't expect to see Ogletree back. I like Mayo. I like what I saw last week. He was another guy that's not getting talked about enough on our defense, Dalvin Tomlinson.
Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, that guy's a monster.
Yeah,
that guy's a monster.
He's a beast.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not he's not one for the sacks. He doesn't rack up the sacks, but he can clog the middle. That's for sure, and he's damn good at it. I'm glad that we got him as well. We got our line. Our line is starting to look really really good. I'm starting to see what our general manager what he's up to, and it's starting to look good. I can't wait. Hopefully everything gels and we can continue to keep looking better every week, and hopefully start getting some wins, and maybe some wins that we weren't expecting to get. I can see us beating some teams that people probably say, oh, we're going to lose that game. I can see us shocking some people with some games this year, especially if we start stay healthy. I really do. So
I sure hope so. But yeah, Tomlinson was great last week. He stuffed the middle all game against the Patriots, and we'll see how it all plays out. For me to believe this team has a real chance this year, they got to win their next 2 games. If they get to 4-4 going into that Cowboys game, I'm going to say to myself, wow.
Yep.
If we could beat Dallas here, we're 2-1 in the division. We're 5-4. And we got the Jets on deck, and then we got a bye. So we could potentially be 6-4 with a week to prepare for our final 6 games. So if we could win our next 2 games, I'm going to really believe we got a shot to compete in this division this year. But got to win the next 2.
Right, absolutely. And then we still have, the Miami Dolphins and the Redskins again? I mean, those are 2 coaster games right there, right?
Yeah, our final 6 games are 2 Eagle games, Jets, Redskins, Packers, and Bears. So the other 4 are tough. But if you win those, say we get to 6-4 at the bye, which is, we're dreaming at this point. We'd have to win 4 in a row. But say we do.
Right.
The Redskins game and the Dolphins games have to be wins. You have to split with the Eagles. And it's 9 wins right there, even if you lose the Packers and Bears game. So let's see what we can do these next 2 games, and then we can start thinking hypotheticals. But get to that Cowboys game at 4-4. And maybe we got something cooking this year,
We play
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Yeah. Definitely. But I know you guys got other callers. I've been listening to you guys all morning. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And Entertainer, I'll talk to you again shortly, like always. And Sims, it was great calling, and I'll pay a little more attention with the rest of your stuff from here on out.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Thanks for calling in, Chris. Yeah, everybody who has not done so, please go into that description and subscribe to Sim over on Nothing But Knicks. Got a great channel over there, great live chat, and we're going to be doing the show on each other's channels. So if you like the show, you got to subscribe.
Yeah.
So
and I want to say thank you to Die Hard Giants fan who's been putting my link in the chat. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Definitely.
Yeah, Dire Giants fan is one of my best subscribers, man. Thank you for showing Sim some love. Thank you to everybody for tuning. I know it's early. Didn't expect a huge crowd today, but it's nice that people come in and listen. And hopefully you guys are either at work or you're driving. Maybe you're a guy who drives for a living, or maybe you're off for the day. Maybe you're called out sick. But we figured we're gonna try this, see if it gets a good reception, and we'll keep it up.
Yeah, man. Hey, I think it's going to grow. Listen, we have 78. That's pretty good, I think. We have 78 in here now. I think it's going to continue to grow. It's going to be pretty good. So.
Yeah, man. I'm having a good time today. I mean, I always love talking to Sim, whether we're talking breakfast, sports, whatever. Thank you to everybody for being here. We'll go for about another 20 minutes or so. But, we touched on all the major sports. Obviously, we got the Yankees tonight, and I know a lot of people looking forward to that. David, we appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Working from home. There you go. Simma works from home.
There you go. See, there you go.
And right now we're working from home.
Yeah, exactly.
not that I really consider this work. It's fun. But Dire Giants fan, this will be it's going to be at least twice a week, I think. We might even extend it to 3 if people like it. But it's going to be in the mornings, 10 to 12. And we'll let you guys know the days. What's going on, Owens? I think right now we said Wednesdays and Fridays going
Wednesdays
forward.
And Fridays, I think we said going forward. Yeah, Wednesdays and Fridays going forward. And it could change as we go along. We both may have some things we've got to do during the day or whatever. Sometimes I work from home, but sometimes there's meetings that I've got to go to and stuff. So.
Sim's a busy man. Sim's a busy man.
We'll work it out. But it'll be good.
Yeah, we'll be doing this, 2, maybe eventually extended to 3 hours, whatever dictates, whatever you guys want. But Chris Cardell, thank you for popping in the stream, buddy. We'll see how it all plays out. We'll touch back real quick on the Knicks. Sim, you've seen them now in preseason. What's your expectations for this year from what you've seen in terms of wins, loss, in terms of growth? For the young kids, whether it be Robinson, whether it be Knox. From what I've seen, and I only got to see a couple of preseason games, but Mitch Robinson continues to make – I didn't see last night's game. I worked, but continues to make ticky-tack fouls that make me say, what are you doing? So I worry about that with Mitch. Still has a lot of talent. But what's your thoughts with the growth of all these young guys this year? What's your expectations for the team?
I'm not sure what my expectations of the team are yet. Mitchell Robinson, he continues to get ticky-tack fouls, which is one of the reasons why they've taken him out of the starting lineup, at least in preseason, and they inserted Bobby Portis. Another reason they put in Bobby Portis is so they can spread the floor a little bit for Julius Randle, because Julius Randle was getting double and triple teamed, losing the basketball, wasn't really able to get off in the post because not just because Mitchell Robinson, but the floor wasn't spread.
Right.
I'm still looking to see what David Fizdale is going to do with these guys on the offensive end. Right. In the first game, it looked like they had some good. What do you want to say? They had some good offensive strategies. Right, they were moving the basketball. Guys were moving off the ball. They were doing a lot of screen-aways, down screens, and things like that. The second and third game, it went away. Couldn't find it. I don't know where it went away. We have trouble shooting. Right now, we're shooting 40% on the preseason from the field. That's not going to get as many wins. Even if your defense is good, you're going to have a hard time winning games if you're shooting 40%. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time winning games. We're not shooting well from 3. I think the first game we shot well from 3. The following 2 games, we did not shoot well at all. So we're somewhere, in the low 30%. Low 30s shooting from the 3-point line. We don't have a point guard still. At least, it's only been 3 preseason games, but we can't point to someone and say, yes, this is the guy that's going to take us there. Elfrid Payton, while he can play defense, he does move the basketball. He scored 5 points over 2 games. Right?
Yeah, Elfrid Payton to me has been discouraging so far in the preseason, and the lack of 3-point success is discouraging. But we'll see. It's preseason, but I thought they made a clear point to address the three-point shot in free agency. With all the guys they brought in, the majority of them were able to knock it down from deep. So hopefully that improves in the regular season, because I thought that would be somewhat of a strength for this team this year, or at least a big improvement.
That's what I thought. I mean, Bobby Portis shoots 39% from. He shot 39% from three last season. Wayne Ellington shot 37% from three last season. Reggie Bullock, he's not playing, but he shot like 37, 38, or 39% from three last season. They're not playing Trier. That's one thing I want to touch on. They're not playing Trier yet. He's played 23 minutes over, 4 games, 3 games in the preseason. He's played 23 minutes, but he shoots 40% from three. At least he did last season, but he's not playing.
Right.
Obviously, Damian Dotson's been out. But yes, we did. Marcus Morris. That's what I forgot. Marcus Morris
can shoot it too, yeah. And not that efficiently, but Randall was even able to display the range last year.
Right. So we're not really. I guess we just haven't seen. It's preseason. Maybe these guys will start hitting as they get a few more games under their belt, and they'll start knocking it down from three a little bit more, which is going to help to open the floor and spread the floor out. We got to see what he's going to do with these lineups, because the starting lineup, he started off with Elfrid Payton, R.J. Barrett, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. Not a lot of shooting on the floor. So that starting lineup has to change. I think it has to change.
I agree with you. Especially in today's NBA, you need to be able to shoot the three.
Yeah. Which he did. He changed it last night. He started Dennis Smith Jr. at the 1, which I don't know why he started Dennis Smith Jr. because he just came back from injuries. First game back. I don't know why you started him. I don't know. He started him. I think he should have started Frank and then let Dennis Smith Jr. come off the bench. Elfrid Payton didn't play at all. Maybe it's neither here nor there, But then they started R.J. Barrett, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, and Bobby Portis, right? Hoping to hopefully spread the floor a little bit. But then, of course, if you start Bobby Portis and Julius Randle together, you're concerned about what are they going to be able to do on the defensive end. I still think there needs to be more changes. He needs to experiment with that starting lineup a little bit to try to get a good balance of shooting and defense in that starting lineup. Because if you go with the original starting lineup, I just don't think there's enough shooting in that lineup. Right. What's going on with Trier? Do you have any idea what's going on with Alonzo Trier?
Now, one question I have for you: is it Trier or is it Trier?
I think it's. I don't know. I think it's Trier.
Because when I do the play-by-play, I say Trier, and I think people say I got to get used to saying it properly. So it's Trier.
I think it's Trier. Yeah.
All right. For last year, I called him Trier the whole season, so it's Trier. All right, Alonzo Trier. It's the same problem we go back to with last year's team. With what we said earlier in the show. I think there's too much depth on this team. I think there's never, but that's going to be a challenge. I shouldn't say there's too much because you like that, but that's going to be a challenge because they have so many players on this team that could play at that guard spot, and it's going to be tough for him to get minutes. Unless I feel like he's the type of player that if he's hot, he'll get his minutes. If he's not going to play. But I like him. I like him. I think he's a nice player, and I think they need to find a way to get him some minutes off the bench because he's a spark plug. Yeah,
he's definitely. When he played against Washington, the second preseason game, he came in, played 16 minutes, and had 14 points in 16 minutes. And it was efficient shooting. It wasn't like he was just jacking up any kind of shot. We'll see how it goes. But scoring, we need efficient scorers in the lineup. And he's not. It's not like he's an awful defender either. That's why I'm wondering about Trier, because he can score the basketball. Last night we scored 90. We lost 100 to 96. We scored 96 points last night. 96 points is not going to get it.
By the way, I think 96 points will not get it, but I think I fixed my microphone problem.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, I think MMA Holes called it. and you're absolutely right. So now we know for next show, this will not happen. I went into the appearing, and I switched it to the Yeti microphone. It was on my computer microphone for some reason.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it was. So we apologize. That was a minor thing on my part. So now we know. Next show, that will not happen. So I'll have better mic quality on my end. So there you go, MMA Holes. Thank you for letting me know. And I love that channel name, MMA Holes. Actually, I think you probably found me from Batgirl. I think Batgirl talks about you guys sometimes. Great subscriber of mine. But yeah, no, with the Knicks this year, I'm not going to get too high. Last year, I was like way too optimistic going into the year when I said this team it could contend for the playoffs, and I was way off base. I didn't pick them to go to the playoffs, but I thought they could be a decent team. This year, I'm kind of playing it wait and see approach. Let's see what the team can give us. But they definitely have some established players, so if Fizdale can coach it properly, there's no reason to think this team can't at least compete. But we'll see. You know, the preseason's been a little discouraging, but at the end of the day, it's preseason. So we're not going to get a real feel for this team until we actually see them on October 22nd or 23rd or whatever day it is.
Yeah. Now, but, you know, even that day concerns me a little bit because Fizdale, this reminds me of last season. Fizdale said he's going to be tinkering with lineups, you know, going into the season, which makes sense because there's 9 new players on the team. So he probably should be tinkering with lineups. But I don't want this going until January. If you expect this team to win 30 or 35 games, you know, you can't be – you're always going to tinker with lineups, right? You're always going to tinker around. But I think you got to find some stability somewhere, especially at the point guard spot. You know,
We've needed stability at the point guard spot since I've been watching the team, Sim.
I know.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, we had Harper for 2 years. Charlie Ward was Childs was Baron Davis was a senior citizen. Jeremy Lin was like 20 games. Stephon Marbury was we haven't had Chris Duhon was okay there for that first year under D'Antoni, but we haven't had stability at that position in forever.
Yeah, we haven't, and you know, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. You know, people are already looking at next year's draft and talk about LaMelo Ball and all these other players. You know, maybe R.J. Barrett's going to end up being the guy because
we're gonna have to wait and see.
Listen, in the preseason, they've used R.J. Barrett at the point guard spot a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe when he starts to get used to it a little bit more and he's got his feet wet in the league, maybe that's something that he's able, maybe he can run that point forward for us. And we don't need to have, you know, that kind of a point guard that is, you know, really, really dynamic. Maybe he can run that point forward spot to the point that, you know, it's good for us, like LeBron did with the Cavs. You know, you didn't need to have this super point guard because you had LeBron. Well, not with the Cavs. Well, with the Cavs before Kyrie. You know, and
right.
Even with Miami, right? You had Mario Chalmers, right? Because you had a LeBron who could be a point forward, and then you had a Dwayne Wade, right? So maybe.
Barrett could play that type of role.
You know?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. And Bobby, thanks for tuning in, Butcher's Block. Yeah, right now, the reason it's probably getting disconnected, I don't think we're taking any more calls, Bobby. That's my guess anyway.
He's saying we could take a couple more if you want to. I know we were having some conversation, so I didn't want to just jump in with a call.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have some people calling in.
I don't mind going a little longer if people want to call in. Absolutely.
I mean, I can go maybe another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, but if we want to get one more, 2 more, whatever callers, we'll take them, guys. We'll take them.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
I got one coming in right now.
All right, we got a call. And what's going on, Elias? Thanks for popping in. And we got a call. Who we got?
Stand up, the entertainer and Simeon.
What is going on? John Letourneau. Sim, before he talks, he's an Eagle fan, so forgive him.
Oh, my gosh.
I got quick 4 points real quick. First of all, Simeon, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
I want to know your thoughts about. I talked to this about the entertainer before regarding Saquon Barkley. If the Giants, I said, because right here he's coming back from injury, and this is what I was telling him before. Like, if the Giants ain't going to be competitive, which they are trying to be now, because my team and the Cowboys have been horrible, so it makes sense for him to play now. But when do you, let's say if you lose the next 2 games, do you want to take him out so you don't lose him to injury again, or something drastically happens to his career? What do you think on that, Simeon, as far as Saquon Barkley is concerned?
Well, I think if he's fully healthy, yeah, I think you go ahead and let him play, right? Because he's still a young running back, and he still needs reps in the league, to continue to get better.
Right.
And listen, I mean, I understand what you're saying, because the life of running backs can be short in the NFL, right? So
Right.
you want to preserve as much as you can. But I also think if he's going to reach his full potential, he's got to be able to get out there so he can, see different defenses. He's got to get work with Daniel Jones, so that they have good chemistry together. And I think it would be important. Let's just say that they did lose these 2 games and they're, 2-6. It would
Right.
still be important, I think, for the offense with Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram, Daniel Jones. Hopefully Shepard comes back soon, to get that work together. You know what I mean? So that you can start developing, they can start developing some good chemistry, their communication styles and tactics on the offensive side of the ball, so that they can bring it into next season, That's as long as
Right.
he's 100% healthy.
And
Yeah.
the other thing about Kawhi Leonard, from Chris said, I think LeBron's going to beat this year, because Kawhi Leonard is good. He's good defensively, but LeBron, obviously, if he stays healthy, since he had most of the year off, I think he's going to come out gangbusters with Anthony Davis and come out of the West. That's my prediction out of the whole thing. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Listen, I have the same thought process on LeBron James this year that I had on Aaron Rodgers going into this year in the NFL. I thought Aaron Rodgers last year was getting a little bit too much hate. People were kind of saying, he's kind of done, even though he had 25 touchdowns, 2 picks. And I thought that the Packers were going to come out and have a really good year. And I think the same thing about LeBron James this year. I think LeBron James this year is going to be extra motivated. He's got Davis there now. Even though Davis is hurt, right? He's going to miss a little time, Sim?
I did see some play. I did see that he was hurt.
I don't think it's anything serious, but he might miss a little time. But that's something you expect with Anthony Davis. That guy gets hurt every year.
Yeah.
But I think LeBron James this year is going to have a monster year. My personal opinion, I think the MVP this year, I think a lot of people are picking different guys. I like LeBron or Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry this year, not to get off topic with the LeBron question, I think the Warriors, they could really help out their legacy there with Kerr and Curry. Because if they ever even compete in the West this year, say they get to the Western Conference Finals, Curry's legacy goes so high. So I'm really looking forward to the individual storylines this year with all the teams. But I love LeBron this year. I think LeBron's going to have a big year.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis has a thumb injury. Doesn't seem like the Lakers are too concerned about the thumb injury. And right now he's day-to-day. So.
And Simeon, I know, Chris has mentioned that I'm an Eagles fan. If you had to choose, because I know Chris's thoughts and Bad Dog's thoughts on this, but if you had to choose, I guess, a lesser evil for this weekend, who are you pulling for this weekend? If you had a gun to your head and you had to choose one team to win this weekend between the Eagles and the Cowboys, I hope you make the right decision.
He's rooting for a tie. He's rooting for a tie like the rest of us.
Oh, no.
If I had to choose between, okay, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. If I had to choose between the Eagles and the Cowboys, I'd choose the Eagles.
That's my man.
I don't like the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys.
You don't like the Eagles either, Sam.
I don't like the Eagles either, but I don't like the Cowboys more than I don't like the Eagles.
Yeah, you hate both, but you're like, all right, I hate the Eagles a little less.
Yeah. I can deal with the Eagles a little bit more. They're closer to New York. You know what I mean? I'm 2 hours from Philadelphia. I like Philadelphia. I go to Philadelphia a lot. So, yeah.
I'll say one thing about Philadelphia. I've been there a number of times. I think it's one of the most underrated cities in the country. I love that city, actually. I ran a marathon there. A lot of nice restaurants there. Cheesesteaks, obviously, are great. But I think Philly's a nice city. I just hate your sports teams, John.
Yeah. One more point. Simeon, you mentioned the Mystics and the Nationals, and you don't forget, a couple of years ago, the Capitals won a championship.
Yeah, that's right.
Too.
The Capitals won a championship a couple of years, too.
But y'all are the best. I love you guys. Stand up and fly, Eagles, fly, guys.
I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
All right, John. Thanks for calling it, buddy.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago. I don't remember what year it was, but the Giants and Philadelphia rivalry and Eagles rivalry was so it was so big. I mean, the Eagles came to Giants Stadium.
Oh, don't remind me. You're gonna talk about that game with Michael Vick?
No.
The Miracle at the Meadowlands Part 2?
No, I wasn't talking about. No. I was talking about they were throwing snowballs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it got a little bit crazy. I mean, that's how. I mean, between the two teams, that's how. And of course, we know how Eagles fans are, right? As a matter of fact, I remember, and maybe they still have it. They used to have a court. A judge.
They had a prison in the stadium.
In the stadium, crazy.
Yeah. They don't have it anymore, but they used to in the old stadium.
Yeah.
And they booed Santa Claus. I mean, what fan base boos Santa Claus? That's supposed to be like the most jolly man in the world.
Yeah, tell me about it. The city of brotherly love, booing Santa Claus. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I will say one thing.
Call, Chris.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
One more call.
Who we got?
Oh, hey guys. Hey, Chris. This is Nick Hector. I look on your chat in the chat every now and then. Stan, this is the first time I've ever talked. But
you're
this is a great show.
you're breaking up, man. It's good.
I don't mean to interrupt you, buddy. You're breaking up. I don't hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in a bad area, so I guess I'll just say hey, and I'll let somebody else who's in a good area call back. But thanks for streaming, guys.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you for calling in. If you get to a better area, by all means, try to call back.
Yeah, thank you for calling in.
Copy that. Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right, you got it, man. You got it. Of all the people, Elias, they boo Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. Isn't that something? Santa Claus. Of all the people, they boo Santa.
I will say, being on YouTube, you get a different perspective of the opposing fans, especially when you do football, because you get a lot of Eagles fans on your channel, a lot of Cowboys fans on your channel. Philadelphia fans are very similar to New York fans, only we don't eat horse shit when we win Super Bowls. but I will say the Eagles fans are very educated. They're very passionate. We just don't like each other. That's all. We don't like each other's teams.
Exactly. All right, let's do one more call, and then we can do one more call.
All right. Who we got?
Caller, how you doing?
Hey, what's up,
man?
fellas?
Yeah, what's going on with you?
What's going on? Who's this?
I'm just calling. Hey, Chris. It's Ivan Felipe. Remember, I had to call in.
Oh, yeah. What's up, buddy?
See, I got to make sure I called in. As I even wrote on the chat, but I just want to talk to you fellas about, well, actually, I have a question for Sim, and I got a question for you, too. But one of the things I want you to check out was, I don't know if you're a fan of James Jones from the NFL Total Talk. He was talking about the Giants today, and he was talking about how he's predicting they're going to go finish 10-6, which is kind of crazy.
I saw that. He had the Giants. I didn't get a chance to watch the video, but I heard about it. He picked the Giants to go 10-6. I hope he's wrong. I hope he's right. Not wrong.
He expects them to win the next 5, and of course, we're going to win this Sunday because I called in today, so that's a start. And but one of the things I wanted to talk about was one of the things he was talking about trading Golden. I think that's a horrible idea, and the reason I say that is because, granted, we could sign him next year, but I think if we was to get rid of him and then try to sign him, I think it's going to cost us more. Where if he stays with us, he builds that, obviously that brotherhood with the guys. He might take, now I'm not going to say a discount for the next 3-4 years, but he already in the system, be ready knows better. I think they should just keep him regardless. And for Tim, I just want to ask a question because I'm a diehard Knicks fan too. So And my question to Sim is basically, I was wondering, how many wins do you think the Knicks are going to probably win this year?
Before preseason, I was somewhere around 30 to 35 wins. I'm staying there, but I think I'm on the lower end right now based on what I've seen so far in the preseason, because we can't shoot the basketball. We're shooting about 40%. We're struggling shooting it from three. I haven't seen the offense that I didn't expect to see the entire offense, but I expected to see some principles of an offense that Fizdale was talking about. I seen it in the first game. I haven't seen it since. So right now my expectations are getting lower. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens when we come out in the season. I'm looking forward to this game against the Pelicans on Friday. I'm hoping that Fizdale can say, okay, this is kind of a dress rehearsal. Let's play this as if it's a real game, at least the first half. Let's do what we're going to do. If they have some, maybe they didn't want to reveal stuff in the preseason. I don't know. But
now Sim, I got a question for you about that game.
Yeah.
Are you going to be live streaming that game or not?
No. I promised my daughter that I'd take her to a haunted house.
No, do it. You told me that. You told me that. Because I was going to say, go on your channel, whatever, or you go on mine, whatever. We'll do the game together. But I'm sure we'll do that in the regular season.
Yeah. We'll definitely do that in the regular season. But, so my expectations are getting lower. I'm hoping that they can raise back up when they play the Pelicans. But now listen, the Pelicans average 128 points per game in the preseason. They've been averaging 128 points per game in the preseason. Now they give up 118, but they've been averaging 128. And we don't get our defense together, because when we played our second game versus the Wizards, we had trouble stopping them from shooting threes, and we had trouble in transition. Last night we had some trouble in transition. We played better defensively. We only gave up 100 points. But we had some trouble in transition. If we let the Pelicans get loose, it could be a bad blowout.
Disaster. But my thing is with the Knicks is that I know they're trying to get their identity, and I think till they figure out it starts with point guard, which I heard you guys talking about with another caller. But I think once they get their identity, who they definitely going to have a point guard, and who's going to be, if it's RJ, if it's going to be this one or that one. But I think once they find out exactly who they want to be the main guy, then they could start going around that. Because I think right now the problem with Fizz, he's just like back and forth until we get the identity. It's going to be one of those seasons for us, and either you're going to stick with one guy or just try to get somebody or trade somebody. I mean, obviously when that time comes, because the good thing is they signed most of these guys for 1 year, and a lot of guys are coming off the Bucks. But I'm just hoping that they wake up this. And because I'm a diehard Knicks fan, and it's pretty depressing because I'm a diehard Mets fan, which I told Chris before. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, a diehard Giants fan. I think it's time our team start changing around, because it's pretty sad. But
you're talking to the right guys, because those are our three. Those are our three teams too.
Man, that's why I had a call. I was hoping to get my call because I called twice. We're 2-0. I didn't call the last 2 weeks. We're 0-2.
That's right. We got to get a win. We got to get a win this week with the Giants, and I'll be doing the call show this Saturday too for the Giants. But and I think another guy that we haven't talked about today that I think I'm really interested to see what he does this year is Kevin Knox.
Yes. Yeah.
Really. He's got to take a step forward this year.
Yeah. Kevin Knox.
With Howard Knox, though, that everything from my reading, obviously we got all these power forwards and small forwards. It's going to be hard giving him a minute, especially with Marcus playing good, or, obviously it's just going to be a combination of different guys in there. But, it was nice talking to you guys, fellas, and it was a pleasure. Sim, I believe it's the first time talking to you, and Chris, I'll talk to you probably on Saturday.
All right.
I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Thank you for being a great subscriber.
Kevin Knox, man. I think Kevin Knox could have a really good season, I think, because I think he's in a good situation where, there's not a lot of pressure on him to be this great player. You know what I mean? He can just kind of, he can be who he is and play, right? If he can knock down that open three, because I think he's going to get a lot of open threes. If he can knock down that open three, I've seen him be aggressive going to the basket. I think he'll be okay. I like to see him get on the boards a little bit more, though.
Yeah, I got to see a lot more out of him. I got to see more efficiency, but I agree with you. I think that's a major reason why they brought in these established players, because I think it's going to help the growth of not just him, but Barrett and everybody else, but I want to see Knox take a big step forward this year. I'm not even talking necessarily about points, but efficiency. I don't want him shooting like 39% from the field or whatever he shot. I want to get it up to 43, 44%, and hopefully he does that. And that's a player I'm really looking at this year. I want to see him mature, and obviously R.J. Barrett. Those are the two guys we're looking at the most this year, along with Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Chris, man, I got to go because I got to prepare for some other stuff.
No, you can't go.
All right.
No, I'm not going to let you go, sir. I'm not going to let you go.
To stay on all day.
But no, man, we had a great time today, and we love doing this. We love doing this together, and we'll be starting this back up next Wednesday.
Yep.
Whatever channel, we're gonna do 2 shows a week for now, and it's gonna be on whoever's channel it's on that week. So if it's on Sims next Wednesday and Friday will be on Sims. Then we'll be coming back here the following week. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. And I hope you guys hit that thumbs up. Hope you subscribed. More importantly, I hope you went into the description and subscribed to Sims, because we're going to be over there probably next time we do this show. Of course, I want to thank Sim for coming on. Always love doing this with Sim, and looking forward to, obviously we're always going to have something to talk about in the world of sports. So
always.
Yeah. So love doing this show. Looking forward to it growing as we continue to do it.
That's right. So hopefully I catch you guys next week on my channel. If you subscribe to the channel and you ring that bell, you'll get a notification, because I'm going to set it up. I'm going to set it up shortly. I'm going to set up the event, so you'll be notified when that event goes out. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And real quick, we forgot to mention that. And of course, Cushmaster, you could sit down. But Beal, we should have touched on that earlier.
Yes.
2 years, $72 million. That's a big extension. Of course, we were talking about him about a month back, 2 months back, whatever it was, potentially coming on with the Knicks via trade. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, $36 million a year. And then after that extension, he can sign the richest contract in NBA history. That's what I was reading.
Yeah,
is Bradley Beal worth that? I don't know if he's worth that. Especially because,
that's kind of just like a deal to put butts in the seats, because that team's not going to compete.
Yeah, exactly. And so that, listen, I was very high on getting Bradley Beal with the Knicks. That contract takes me out of it, because we're not ready for that. This team isn't ready for that. You know what I mean? And Bradley Beal, while I think he's an all-star, and he definitely would have been a great building block for the Knicks, added with Julius Randle, probably would have gotten, let's just say hypothetically, he was with the Knicks this season, I think they would have went to the playoffs. But he's not the promised land guy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the way you win in the NBA, in my opinion, is when you sign max players to max deals. Yeah. Even though I think Beal is a very good player, I don't think he's a max player. And Knicks got to stay away from guys like that when it comes to contracts like that.
Yeah. So, with the Wizards, they need something, because they, right now they're.
It's kind of like the Heat did with Butler. Same thing.
Yeah. So
they're trying to put some butts in the seats with a player.
Yeah. So that takes Beal off the board for me with the Knicks. That takes him off.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I like him, but it takes him off the board.
I'm with you. But we could talk Beal all day. I just wanted to touch on that because I saw King bring it up. But once again, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great Thursday. I'll be back because I'm a maniac. I'll be doing the Thursday night football game tonight. So hopefully you guys come in for that. As well as I'll be premiering my weekly picks with Kid Blue. So I hope to see you guys tonight around 7. And Sim, man, you're the man, dude. Thank you for coming on.
I actually plan on doing a game preview later today about 3 o'clock of the Knicks and Pelicans. So
check that out.
Yeah. All right.
Link in the description, guys. Go check it out.
That's right. All right, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good one. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Out of here.